LNAV, it works really well with VNAV. But if you're using VNAV with another, for instance, heading select, then it can create some problems in your path.
It is important always to understand and keep in mind that if we put the wrong information in the computer, it's going to give us the wrong answers all the time.
If you don't put the right information, exactly, you're going to get the bad information.
Hello everyone, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to welcome someone to the PILOTCLIMB community. His name is Cesar, he's a very good friend of mine, but on top of it, he's a great professional. So Cesar, do you mind to introduce yourself to the PILOTCLIMB community?
Of course not. Hello everybody, my name is Cesar, and well, I started my career in 1999 in school in Salamanca. When I finished in 2002, I became a flight instructor as well, because I like to do training, and I've been involved in the training department all the time in my career. In 2003, I joined Ryanair as a cadet, a new cadet, becoming a first officer, senior first officer. Then I did my upgrade in Ryanair, and I was there until 2014. In 2014, I joined Norwegian as a captain, and then becoming instructor as well in Norwegian until the pandemic hit 2021. I finished there, and then I joined FLIR in Norway, in Oslo, based in Oslo. I've been flying until now, basically. And when I was in Argentina, for instance, in Norwegian, I did some training there as well, and so from 2018 till 2019.
Very good. As a line training captain on the Boeing 737, right?
Exactly, 737. I've been flying 737NG and the MAX, and this is because I always say if it's not Boeing, I'm not Boeing. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, how many hours do you have now?
More than 10,000 hours, and yeah, once you have a lot of hours, you don't even start counting too much.
Yeah, very good, very good, very good. Amazing. So everyone, in today's video, we are going to discuss the VNAV principles, the VNAV basics. You will understand how the VNAV works. And this presentation that Cesar was very good to prepare is actually focused more on the Boeing 737. However, it's basically the same principles that you can apply for other airlines. So without further ado, let's start. The way we're going to structure this video today, Cesar will read through his slides and then we will comment. I will ask him some questions. He will add anything that he feels like that is important for you to understand and know. And basically that's it. We'll take it from there. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So Cesar, could you please start with your presentation and let us know your job, please? Give us some good inputs and insights.
All right, yeah, that's basically, we're going to talk about the brief history of VNAV and the LNAV, which is the lateral navigation and vertical navigation. VNAV were first fully integrated by Boeing airplanes in the early 80s. So basically on the 757, 767. Other airplane manufacturers as well and models then follow shortly thereafter as well. The original intent of the FMS and its features was to offload routine tasks from the pilot and enhance fuel efficiencies for en route navigation, basically. So no early vision existed into future operations such as AirNav, RMP, TPS, and 4D paths, but they will come thereafter as well.
Yeah, very good. So Cesar, just let me ask you, can you just explain very briefly what is the difference between actually like very basic stuff between LNAV and VNAV, like really in one sentence for everybody to understand?
Well, basically LNAV is a lateral navigation, and it's following the point-to-point navigation basically, and what we create in the FMS as well, where we can create a point as well or a waypoint defined already. And the vertical navigation is basically a path that is going to follow the aircraft, considering many things that we will introduce into the FMS. Yeah. So this is basically what I can
very good.
It's a path of descent and a path of lateral navigation.
Yes, very good. Yes. And also VNAV can be used also during climb, correct? So if you have any other,
of course.
Any speed. So
VNAV is basically to create a profile in terms of vertical conditions, basically, you know.
Yeah. So basically VNAV is up and down and LNAV is left and right, basically.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Yeah.
Okay. So as capabilities of LNAV and VNAV were better understood, it was increasingly used in terminal area operations, and then they were applied to approach operations, the LNAV approach procedures, and the required navigation performance later on. Now the FMS is a primary onboard tool for performance-based navigation operations, basically.
Very good.
So the lateral navigation provides flight control steering, the guidance command along the lateral flight plan, basically. And the VNAV is the vertical navigation, as we were discussing, the up and down path. Basically, VNAV provides a flight control steering and thrust, the guidance commands to flight control system and auto thrust, along the vertical path for takeoff, climb, cruise, basically all the phases of the flight, including, of course, the miss approach, descent, everything. And some less integrated VNAV systems advise the flight crew of the vertical path, but they don't have an auto throttle capability. So basically demanding to the crew to manually maintain the descent path, adjusting the thrust or the drag, basically.
Good. So, Cesar, from your point of view, why it is a big deal, this LNAV, VNAV, and why it is integrated nowadays compared to the old day? What are actually the benefits that everybody can get out of these systems like the LNAV and VNAV?
The main, it's a system that basically what it does is just like it's more efficient in terms of fuel, and is less dangerous as well as the dive and drive system that we were using before that.
Yeah.
Especially for many terminal areas, navigation is really good as well, and it's a lot more efficient. And in terms of safety at the end of the approach, basically, at the end of the phase of the approach, basically doesn't create this step down procedure all the way to the limits, basically. Yeah. So it creates a path of 3 degrees that it's more efficient.
Yeah, that's we're gonna talk about this also in the next slides. But what I think also it is important that using this LNAV VNAV allows, as you said, is more efficient because it's better descending, planning is great. But I think also it might make a better separations. No, I think the ATC can actually separate, make sure, because everybody knows where exactly we are, so the separation can be reduced also, like for example on final or during the approach. That could be also a good point from ATC perspective, since everybody knows where we are, the positions are more correct and everything is more, the air traffic flow management is also improved using this LNAV VNAV. I think it's another
of
point.
course, as I said, it's something as well of navigation purposes in terminal areas with very congested areas that help us the pilots and the controllers as well to maintain the separation as well. Yeah,
very good, amazing, cool.
Okay, basically the VNAV provides, as we were saying, vertical component of the flight path along the lateral path. And when not positioned on the LNAV, that's important, on the LNAV path or purposely deviating from the path, VNAV is not intended to be used because it could lead you into some problems, you know, because that's something you have to understand. LNAV, it works really well with VNAV, but if you're using VNAV with another, for instance, a heading select, then it can create some problems in your path. Not problems in terms of safety, but well, it could lead into these safety problems as well at the end. But mainly, it's not going to be as efficient as it was planned before. Yeah.
Very good. Yes. Okay. Yes. Because basically the VNAV, the up and down, as we said, works if it knows where it is on the left and right path on the lateral. If you are somewhere in the space, it doesn't know where you are actually in the lateral. Very good. And can you explain the picture that you have in your slides here? This is a Boeing 737 and navigation display. Can you explain can you actually explain where the LNAV and VNAV can be seen in this picture?
Yes, of course. I mean, well, this LNAV it's the magenta line that we're going to follow initially inbound to Guam, and we have the vertical profile. We have to be a flight level 210 or below, but 17,000 or above feet. You know, if you can see the scale on the right side of this slide, you will see the RNP, required navigation performance, the actual navigation performance. It's green because it's within the limits, and this magenta scale, you can see as well that you're following exactly what you plan. As you can see, the heading back is turning into a heading of a 250. So if you out of the LNAV, what we were saying before, then you will not follow anymore this kind of path that you have vertically. So that's what we were discussing basically.
Yes.
And then yeah, say again.
No,
yeah,
sorry. The RMP on the VNAV on the scale on the right, where it says RMP 400 and AMP 114.
That's for the vertical.
Yes, and this basically RMP, as you said, require navigation performance, and this fits. So 400 fits and 114 fits. So this is especially very good. And then
and the other one that you have on the just underneath the triangle, that's the lateral navigation performance. And your scale is the 2 nautical miles and the actual navigation performance of 0.22.
Yes,
that's what you're actually doing. So this is what you can see both in green, that you're following the LNAV and the VNAV accordingly. On the right slide up on top, you will see ground, which is the point that you're proceeding, and your estimated time of arrival, which is 1813.1, and the nautical miles to that point. So it's 9.8 nautical miles.
Very good.
And but this is basically for the LNAV, VNAV.
Yeah, so here it's very clear to see that the aircraft is following the LNAV, so the magenta line. So since it's following that, it can also follow the VNAV. The VNAV can give you good information. But if the position would have been outside this magenta line, then the VNAV is not useful. It cannot give us a good information because it doesn't know where it is on the lateral navigation route that it creates. Very good. Cool.
Yeah, we will keep on going on the VNAV.
Sure.
As we were saying, it's a vertical component of the navigation flight profile. And basically, it's a compute flight trajectory of the airplane in the vertical plane, in a vertical path. The flight profile is a 3-dimensional, potentially up to 4D when a time requirement is added, and reflects all the speed and altitude restrictions specified in the flight plan, while also is honoring airplane operation limits.
So I think this point is very important. Can you elaborate a little bit more on this point? The difference between 3D and 4D, what do you mean with this time requirement is added?
As I was saying before, it's basically you add the you can see where is going to be the plane in that time specifically, so that basically creates a path that is instead of 3D is in 4D, because you're going to see as well what is the trajectory of the plane in time as well. So that's basically the 4D. It's very useful because for instance, where we were saying before with the ATC controllers as well, they can actually see what is going to be where is going to be your plane in that time frame, So basically, to accommodate more traffic in congested airspace is a lot better for everybody.
Yeah. Very good. Cool.
Well, VNAV computes the guidance commands for the autopilot or flight director and alpha throttle to follow the compute vertical profile. And the VNAV is designed basically, as I said before, to optimize the airplane vertical performance, capability, and accuracy along the flight plan route. We work in all the flight phases, since pre-flight, that we prepare the FMS with all the data and everything, and then we're gonna work on takeoff, departure, and route, descent, everything, all the phases of the flight. Basically.
One important point that I always want to make with, especially when I was doing training on the 7.3 also, was that it is important to understand this LNAV VNAV is based on the FMC information that we set. And it's actually, at the end, it's just a computer. So it is important always to understand and keep in mind that if we put the wrong information in the computer, it's going to give us the wrong answers all the time.
If you don't put the right information, exactly, you're going to get the bad information. And this is really important. It's something that to keep in mind for all the people that is listening this or watching this video, it's the flight starts at the beginning in the flight phase of the pre-flight. Because if you introduce some wrong information, it could lead you into some situation that it can make some wrong descent or something, and it's not going to be that the machine is wrong. It's basically that you put the information that is wrong in the machine. So that's it.
Very good.
So
cool.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about the flight phases.
Yeah.
As we were saying, of course, the pre-flight, it takes into consideration to prepare FMS and with all the information and everything. But the takeoff phase, for instance, is that phase that is speed-based climb, It takes the safety speed until acceleration height or flap retraction speed, and then that goes to the climb phase, which is basically speed-based climb determined by the most economical speed, which is the econ speed, or the pilot selection speed, the selected speed. So basically, you can control as well with the speed interval and change the speed if you need some different speed according to, for instance, the terminal area that is congested. Maybe they ask you to increase your speed or decrease the speed to have a better rate of climb. And then once you reach the top of climb, it starts the flight phase of the cruise, which is a 3D path-based level segment determined by the economics of speed and altitude or the pilot selection as well. The cruise climb capability is for more efficient altitude, and the cruise descent capability, the pilot can choose to change the cruise flight level or descend early.
Good.
That's basically
good. So very good. And how does it, like, what is the difference between this econ? Why do we want to use econ speed and not selected speed, for example?
Econ speed is more, I mean, it's basically we operate in a company with a cost index, and the cost index is basically, it's a proof and based from the company, based on the price of the fuel and the procedures that the company has. For instance, some of the companies, they use some cost index, but if they are delayed, they can increase the cost index to burn a little bit more fuel and gain a little bit more time in terms of getting earlier to the destination. So basically, the econ speed is based on the most efficient climb according to the fuel price. Basically.
Yes, very good. Yes, for example, on the airline that I work for now is Wizz Air, and when we are late, or usually we use cost index 15, but when we are late, we use cost index 100. So in generic term, the higher the cost index, the higher it's going to cost that flight for the company. However, the faster it will be. And as you said, some airlines, they do their own calculation. They come up with a number with a cost index. That's like, for example, in Ryanair, it was 30 at the beginning, right? When we flew, it was 30. And then they lowered
when
down
I joined, it was even more, actually. I remember, and then they went to 30, and then from 30 they went to 6. As far as I remember.
Yeah. So 6,
yeah, but I still remember that when I joined Ryanair, we were doing our descent, econ speed descent, at around 282 knots.
Yeah.
So, and it went down to 246, I think.
Yeah, very slow. Yeah, anyway, yeah. What can we do?
But that's the way, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But as an airliner, like, for example, with the good things of this cost index, that the airline, they do their own calculations, and they see that there is a sweet spot between fly more time but being more economical, because the point that many people make is that the higher the cost index, the better, because your flight time will be less. Yeah, but because you're gonna fly faster, you're gonna burn more fuel. So this is where the companies, they make their own calculation based also on the crew, on the salaries. There are lots of inputs on this cost index, and then they come up with a perfect number for what they think. Like now, as I said, on the 320, because now I'm flying the 320s, on the CEO we have 15, and on the NEO we have 10. But then it can change. Some companies, they also use this optimum cost index, right, where they actually choose depending on the situation, different cost index every day. But yeah,
I'm working now for FLIR, for instance, and we have for a cost index for the MAX different than the cost index for the NG.
Yeah.
So that's 18 or 10. It depends on the aircraft. So it depends on the company, and as well as you said, it's a calculation based on the fuel price, but in many other things as well, like the routes and everything.
Yeah. Very good. Cool. Amazing.
Let's talk about the descent then, if you're happy, Gabriele. So it's basically path-based, the VNAV path descent. It's calculated an idle or near idle descent profile. So basically, it's the descent phase begins at the top of descent through the approach to the beginning of the missed approach, typically the runway, basically. The path is determined by the airplane performance parameters and the desired descent speed, the econ or selected speed, winds, temperature, distance to airport, and intermediate altitude constraints, which is really important also. In the event of adverse unforecast winds, temperature, VNAV may sacrifice the path shallow the flight path angle to protect for a pending overspeed condition. So we'll talk later as well about this unforecast winds or changes on the Q&As. We will talk about later on as well, and how can we as a pilots adjust or counteract this unforecast winds and expected situations. Yeah.